There, I hit the record button. If you'd like to, if it makes you feel important that we log onto your link, that's really okay with
No,
me.
I really don't care. Other than the fact that we were just having good old chat there talking about. I was saying I want to find a couple more people who want to do this with me.
Oh, I've done that one.
Yes, I'm sure you have. I know the other guys haven't, but
that's great stuff.
I've done this one recently. I did this one. I really liked it.
Ooh, I haven't done that one.
It's aliens on a ship.
Nice. So I'm still getting used to this whole doing it through the computer thing, but being able to keep a bunch of notes in front of me all at the same time is really handy. Because usually my notes are one face of an index card, because I don't like traveling with a bunch of stuff. So with the exception of Sam, the rest of you are already a group. And last time I checked, we're headed into a big tunnel with a set of green eyes glaring back at you.
I'm pretty sure we are in the tunnel.
Definitely.
Yeah, at least two of us are.
I know one of us is.
Remind me again where Hermes' position is. Is he in the front or in the back?
I am not even in the tunnel right now. Because
Yeah, I think it's me and Jason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the third. Slow anyone up.
Okay.
So the 30-foot tunnel, I'm right there at the fork.
Yep.
And I was peering around, and Nathan was 15 feet behind me and sent the
and I'm casting my light, my magical light.
30 feet down the hallway. So the sphere of light should be like bouncing against green eyes.
Yep.
And I'm about 15 feet from it, kind of peering around the corner.
Excellent. That's where I thought we were. Just making sure.
It was just me and Nathan in the hall. Everybody else is back in the lab.
Okay.
No, I'm going after Nathan.
Oh, okay.
So I'm the third one.
Okay. As you step towards the tunnel, there's a mighty shake and rumble, and part of the tunnel collapses as a mole the size of a bear charges towards you, and I hate saying this, but roll initiative.
Oh.
Where's it coming out of?
It is coming out of the ground right in front of you.
In front of me?
Yes, you.
Awesome. Okay, so do you add for initiative in 5 Torches, do you add proficiency or anything to it?
Initiative, strictly speaking, doesn't exist in 5 Torches Deep, but there was some discussion about initiative for a traditional turn order. So add your dex modifier to a d20 roll.
I mean, we don't. Was that the decision that we're going to do traditional initiative? I don't care.
It wasn't. There was just a almost unanimous suggestion that we move towards a more traditional turn order, so we stop talking over each other.
Okay.
If we can do that with traditional initiative or just your dex scores, which is how 5 Torches Deep does it. However you want to do it.
I got a 12. -1 dexterity.
Woo!
I got 11, and I'm not even in the tunnel, but I rolled anyway.
13.
19 plus 1.
19 plus 1? Nice.
He's like, I'm totally on top of that, way back here.
Yeah. If you need something, just ask.
Barry hasn't arrived yet, I don't think. Sam, did you get all that?
I got a bunch of numbers. Don't know what it means.
Okay.
Big newbie here.
Yeah, Sam's basically brand new. Everybody say hi to Sam.
Sam.
Hello, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
So we can make this as awkward as possible. So what you're going to do is you don't actually have dice. You have a web app. So you're going to use the D20 one and add your dex modifier, which I'm pretty sure is a negative, isn't it?
Yes, it was -2.
Ouch.
The D20,
Yes.
roll it once.
Yes.
I got a 19, so -2 would be 17.
That's still pretty great.
Oh, negative modifiers is so depressing.
Yeah. So Jason goes first, but then it'll be your turn.
Mm-hmm. So I can see them.
Yes, you can see them at the edge of the tunnel. there's this giant mole the size of a bear with giant green eyes and teeth, not quite as big as one of your limbs, but pretty close, has burst out of the ground as advancing towards them.
Not like this.
No, that's a naked mole rat. This one has fur, but aside from that, yeah.
Okay. So I'll take my bow and fire an arrow.
Nice.
3.
The arrow whizzes past their faces and plunges into the mouth of the giant mole, and a little bit of blood gets on them. Better them than you, right? And Sam, it's your turn.
Okay. So what do we do?
You do whatever you want to do.
I'm in a different spot than them, right?
Oh,
I haven't
that's right.
looked
Yes,
past
you're
them yet.
still in the. That's right. We can skip you, right? And I can get to you when the plot gets there. Or
That would make sense.
sure, yeah, let's do that. So forget what I said. Totally not your turn. Nordir, it's your turn.
Okay. So he's right there at the fork, right? Like pretty much right on top of me?
Yes.
Okay. Can I want to kind of move over to the side. So if like the fork is like that, right?
Mhm.
So we're here. I want to kind of move if I can over to here to the
Yep.
side so everybody can still get decent shots.
You bet. You'll be kind of
And,
cramped into the side of the tunnel, but it'll totally be an option.
Right. Okay. I want to pull out my sword and try to drive it home.
Ooh.
Jason, are you a fighter again? Is that right?
No, I am a rogue who is praying to God that we can kill this thing fast.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh wait, there's no attack of opportunity, is there?
No.
In 5e? Or in 5e, Jesus.
There is in 5e. There isn't in 5 Torches Deep.
Right. Okay, hold on. Okay, so there's me. 15 feet back is Nathan and Jason. Nathan, what are you? I don't remember.
I'm a cleric.
Cleric. Okay.
We don't really know each other's abilities yet, so this is going to be
Yeah, I guess it is kind of meta.
we're just learning.
Well, Scott, I'm freaking out. I pull up my sword and I try to drive it home.
Panic stab. Panic stab.
Yes. Oh, damn. Now you only add your strength, right?
Yes.
Okay. That is a 16 then to hit.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, Jason.
I'm sorry.
You're using a weapon? Are you proficient with it?
Yes.
So you have a +2.
Okay.
And then you would add your strength if you had a strength bonus.
Oh, okay. Then
Is that right?
It is. Sorry, I thought we were talking about damage die. Yes. Yes, you add your proficiency bonus and your respective modifier
Wait.
to any kind of attack or effort that you're proficient with.
So like
I don't know if I'm proficient with a sword. Yes, I am.
Guys, I've got a friend who's like interrupting all of this for me. Hello?
I don't have strength, so lose that. So that's still a 17 if you add proficiency.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Sam, before I forget, the static number you're trying to beat, it does change, but very rarely is 11. Punch the mole in the teeth, 11. Pick a lock, 11. Jump up and down like a lunatic, rolling for some reason, 11. All of it.
cool.
Okay, so sword, that's 10. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no, it's fine.
That is. Do you add anything to your damage?
You're using a sword, you would add your strength mod to the damage.
Okay. Then that is a 6.
Nice.
Points of damage.
So with your panic stab, right, you dart forward a little bit and you shove the sword in between a couple of its teeth and make a big space, and blood from its tongue just covers your face in armor.
Oh,
Another day.
Little mole blood, little mole spit. It's good for you.
he
And
licks
the
his
mole
lips.
goes, and the mole and pulls back a little bit, but doesn't necessarily retreat. More like an animal up against the wall.
Okay. And with that, I kind of pulled back and kind of ducked down a little bit.
Sounds good. And Nathan, the unnamed one, your turn.
Okay, but I am behind him. Can I even get to this creature?
Yeah,
So I can like come around and attack him?
yeah.
Nail
I
him?
mean, it's cramped quarters. It's not a very wide tunnel, but it's wide enough for two of you, as long as one of you isn't the owl bear. You know?
Okay. Yeah, the owl bear. I forgot about that. So I'm gonna charge forward with my Tinker's Hammer of Doom.
Of Doom. Everything is better of Doom.
My D7 Tinker's Hammer of Doom, and I totally whiff.
No, when you say
roll the
whiff.
4 plus 2.
Okay.
Welcome to the band.
See, and you just kind of look silly, right? You slip a little bit on some of the blood, but you don't fall over, but you do look kind of silly. Hermes, your turn.
Okay, right. What on earth can I do? How far away am I? Like, because I'm not in the tunnel.
You're
How
not
far-
in the tunnel. You're 30-ish feet from the mole creature.
Okay, I don't think I have any kind of ranged attacks.
I don't know about that. Can you throw your own poop?
I don't know if it's brewing yet. I might have already been. I'm scared around that fire.
I'm sorry. Now I have this horrible image of my mind of an owl bear just reaching back there to.
How do owl bears wife? I have no ranged abilities. So I can't attack this thing.
I get you some javelins.
I don't have any, but it would be
Yeah.
nice. I suppose I can try digging some of this hole out, see if I can make it so I can fit.
Sure. Are you familiar with ICRPG's effort mechanic?
No.
Okay, so ICRPG treats effort kind of like damage for things that aren't opponents. The idea is that individual tasks have a hit point value just like an enemy does.
Right.
So in this situation, let's say you have to deal 10 hit points worth of damage
to the tunnel.
to the tunnel in order to make enough space for you to get around.
Okay. Right. Do I need to roll to hit, or is that just?
No, you just need to roll for the damage.
Okay. And do I go in with an unarmed, or should I? I suppose I could use a weapon, couldn't I? I've got a great axe, believe it or not.
Now I'm picturing an owlbear with a great axe, which is pretty great.
That is pretty cool. He's got like straps around his hands, so he doesn't have to grab it because he's got knock off thumbs.
Nice. Sam, I sent you a link so you can see what owlbears are. I wasn't sure if you knew.
So we have a 9.
For damage, not bad. Excuse me. You go nuts with the tool and you dig out the side of the tunnel and you're pretty sure that you could squeeze in there, but another dig or so and you'll actually have space.
Right. Okay.
The giant mole rears back as best as it can, which is really not that impressive because the tunnel's too small, and just huffs this big green mixed with the red blood loogie at Jason.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no shit on that one.
Beautiful.
And he rolls a 1 and just spits on his own feet and burns one of them into nothing.
What?
I can live with that.
Jason, it would be your turn.
Okay, I will attack him with my two swords.
Nice. This mole is terrible.
18.
Nice.
Okay, so I have to now sword to D10. 8 damage.
So you've killed the giant mole. Do you want to explain how you did that?
I just swooped my sword.
Little fancy
From left,
Geralt,
from the right, yeah.
little
Or
fancy
swooping.
Geralt of Rivia action, right?
Yeah.
You shred him like a blender. His head falls off in the tunnel, blood varnishes the floor, and the corpse just kind of to the side.
I just watched that this week.
Oh yeah, how is it?
It was good times.
Nice. Sam and I were talking about earlier. Apparently they changed Dandelion's name. That kind of rubs me the wrong way, but I hear it's good anyway.
Dandelion.
Ooh,
That's how they say it in the audiobook.
ooh, ugh. So I don't know. I'll get over it, but anyway, there's a dead mole and a tunnel.
Was this the green eyes that we saw? Or was
Definitely,
that different? Oh, it was?
definitely.
Oh, okay.
So is the tunnel now like big enough for a couple people to walk in, or is it expanded, or there's 3?
Since the owlbear has kind of gone like this and tunneled out like a drill bit through the back of the tunnel, if he continues to do that, it'll be wide enough for you guys to walk owlbear here, humanoid next to him, or 3 of you in a straight line if one of you isn't him.
Okay. I don't mind continuing to do so.
I forgot it was a small tunnel. All right, I'll wipe my my sword off on the mole.
Ew.
Even though my sword will be clean, I will be covered in blood and.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna need a
Gotta
dry
take care of your
cleaner.
sword, though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, hopefully this town has dry cleaners. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Man,
Sam, did you
my
get that
staff.
link I sent you? Excellent.
Now, would this be out of the ordinary for us, or is this like a run-of-the-mill giant mole rat?
How many of you are well traveled? Sam and I already talked about this, but the rest of you.
I'm pretty well traveled, actually.
Nah, this is my first time to leave my home area.
My character was a courier, so I would like to think he's been around.
This is a good point. So you've never seen one, but you've heard people. You both have heard people discuss in whispers in taverns and the like, that underground there are creatures that are just like surface dwellers, just way too big. That's the closest thing you've heard to something like this, because for all intents and purposes, it was a mole. It was just the size of a bear.
Kind of like the ROUSs in Princess Bride, rodents of unusual size.
It's a good reference, and yes.
It was on TV the other day.
Man, flashback. I haven't seen that movie in
Did this thing spit acid?
The moles from underneath, yes, clearly. But the moles from the surface, you've never seen a mole on the surface spit acid.
Okay. Is this thing still dripping acid or anything?
It's, as you kind of look at the head, some acid is dripping out from between its 2 enormous teeth.
Okay. I grabbed some of the vials from the lab. Can I go ahead and fill one of those up with acid?
Definitely, you could fill up several.
Well, I'll go ahead and fill up 2.
Sounds good.
Yeah, the acid doesn't burn glass, does it?
Say that one more time.
Just to be clear, the acid won't burn through glass, does it?
No, most acid doesn't. I got a crash course in acids because my mom worked in that kind of factory for a long time. It is amazing to me how many acids don't eat glass but do eat things like metal and plastic. I'm like, wait a
My
second.
question: what are you using as a bung for those vials?
Yeah, rubber, isn't it?
I'll keep it balanced.
I was thinking there were little glass stoppers that kind of screw in.
We will go with that.
Like high security beakers.
The DM giveth, I take it.
I mean, so many other things are going to threaten you. Why does it have to be vials of acid?
That's right. Well, I mean, we want to go find where I'd like to continue to explore. I light my torch and
An actual torch, not your little glow ball?
I'm assuming I can't have that glow ball just go indefinitely. I must have to be like focused or
Yeah,
What
I'd
do you
say a
think?
concentration. I'd say if somebody like struck you or you had to
Like
make
if
a
I'm
save or something.
attacking with my weapon, can I simultaneously have my glow ball going?
I think if you make a concentration check, oh yeah.
I'm gonna light a torch.
Okay. And since we've kind of ignored the fact that it's only supposed to light up your hand or whatever, if you want to have it float out to your movement speed on that distance, I don't care. Works for me.
Cool.
All right, so I know before we left last time, there was discussion about going back up top. Did we want to? Because when we left off, right, like everybody's still not trapped, but in the temple. Did we want to go back up, or did we want to go back or go ahead and continue further down?
I think we should continue.
Yeah.
I like the dark hole.
All right. All right.
Okay, I guess I'll carry on digging it then. Do I need to roll for a bit more damage, or
No, let's bypass that and say that while they were busy fishing acid out of the head of a dead mole, then you just dug out the rest of the side of the tunnel.
Cool, yeah.
All right.
Well, wait, which direction are we going? Aren't there
I was
three?
gonna say there's three. Okay, so we didn't notice any footprints or anything last time we were here. We didn't notice anything going down the middle one. And
Did we do any of that kind of checking?
I don't remember checking. Well, I wasn't there to check, but
No.
I don't remember anyone.
I basically turned the corner and there were green eyes.
Yeah. We can maybe toss it a check.
Say that again?
Maybe we should roll for checking. For check.
Sure, if you want to. If you're just poking.
What stat would that? I have a wisdom proficiency.
And you're poking to see what's in the holes?
Like if I'm seeing any evidence of traffic.
I do have advantaged tracking.
Okay. Sure.
I can get lost.
Neither can I don't think. No.
So if you're looking to deduce kind of foot traffic of a human nature, you'll come up short. But the one with between the lot of you have a surprising amount of tracking and ability to see movement where there might not otherwise be some. So as you eyeball the tunnels, you see that in the one to the left and the center one, there are big divots in the dirt, which are probably footprints from the giant mole creature. They match its feet. I mean, they are just there, like on the side of the corpse, going, "Hey, feel free to match me up." But you don't see anything that looks remotely like human footprints.
Nothing that would set a trap.
No. Assuming that the only difference between a giant mole and a regular size mole is the size and the ability to spit acid, they're not smart enough to set traps.
And all these tunnels, they look like they go straight, right? None of them go down or up or anything.
No, they look pretty straight. The one on the right looks like it divots down a little bit after a while, but not like a sheer drop or anything. You wouldn't lose your traction.
Left one, correct?
The mole came up out of the ground in front of the left one.
Oh.
So, theory then, underneath the mole is yet another tunnel.
Yes. Though for the most part, it collapses. He bursts through the earth. So you wouldn't necessarily have to worry about falling in, but you could dig your way down there if you wanted, yeah.
Well, I don't think we should mess with the mole tunnel. We should look to see where if we can maybe track this dwarf. I think there's some connection between. Samantha, there was a dwarf that was connected to the fellow. The innkeeper was connected to. Did you give her the background of where we're at here?
I did not. I gave her the background of what you're going to be.
Okay.
At least I think where you're going to be.
So there was a guy who was planting seeds in human corpses and then feeding the product of this seed to the population through his tavern. which made them peaceful. So they all lived together in peace. But
Mhm.
he was murdering people every once in a while to make this happen. And we're trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay.
I just saw Barry in the Facebook chat. Hopefully he'll get the link and he'll be here shortly.
Yep.
My friend should be joining in as well at some point soon.
Oh, fancy.
Mm. Yeah.
All right.
My
So,
chinchilla is also joined.
Oh, adorable. Are those as high maintenance as I hear they are?
Once again.
Oh.
I hear that chinchillas are supposed to be super high maintenance pets. Is
Oh
that
no, I
true?
think they're supposed to be quite good.
Not so high.
No? Cool. They're adorable.
Very soft.
I've heard, yeah.
If you want many snakes and lizards, then my house is the place to be.
Oh, yeah? I've always been strictly a dog and cat guy. If it's got scales or the ability to kill me, right?
None
If
of
it
my
has tines, spines, acid, right?
My dog is the most dangerous thing in my house.
Nice.
So.
Have
No,
you guys
my
ever
dog will look to me for protection, not the other way around.
I had a dog once that was terrified of its own shadow. Seriously, when it saw it would stand up and run away and be very upset that it couldn't get away from the black thing on the ground.
I proceed down the tunnel.
You just okay?
Which one?
Right.
The one that the mole came from, but
Okay.
not the hole down, but
Right.
forward.
Okay. So you
I'm going here.
We can stamp on this mole, so like we block that hole up. And
So the owl Hermes kind of packs the mole in the hole it created. And the rest of you, with the exception of Sam, obviously, descend down the left tunnel. Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be right up there with Nathan, or the Nameless.
Right. He hasn't named his character yet.
You can give me a name. I'm just saying, like, you could call me something. I just don't know my true name yet.
I'm
Tinkerbell.
I kind of
Ooh.
like Barry's, just call you Tink.
I'm partial to the
Tinkerbell?
Wanderer. Ooh, Tinkerbell. That's masculine. That'll work.
That's what I think of when I hear Tink.
I'm not sure what I'd think of that. It would actually strike me as somewhat blasphemous because it's taking the Tinker's name in vain.
Nice. So
What
you
do
just
you look like? What's your
What do I-
character look like?
what are you
Well,
wearing?
I'm wearing heavy armor, so I look pretty badass. Like I have a big hammer in my hand, and I've got a helmet that a magic tinker's helmet, and I've got like I look kind of like a paladin, I think, with a big thing. So I look tough, and I have I'm just charging in with a torch and my hammer.
And a D7.
And a D7, yeah, where I have the D7 hammer of the Tinker.
One of these days, I've got to get a full set of D7 and D9, all the crazy misshapen polyhedral die.
All right. So I'll head up with the Nameless.
Oh, there we go. Hold on.
Yep.
I have two new. Hey, everybody.
A new opponent has arrived.
I don't think they're fully in here yet.
There he is.
Hey.
How you doing, sir?
You guys hear me?
Yep.
We can now. Hey.
Hey, sorry I'm late. I totally screwed up.
Happy birthday.
Oh,
Happy
thank you.
birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
yeah, happy birthday.
No worries. You have kids, right? Everything's okay.
Well, that's nothing to do with them, though. I
As
was
long as you
la
kept it.
painting away, and my wife said it's dinner, and I'm like, oh, I got to eat quickly. I got to play in 10 minutes. I sat down. I'm like, wait a minute. It's 6 o'clock my time. And I ran downstairs, and here I am.
Happy birthday, and everybody gets, I'd already told everybody else, but you were here because of your birthday. Everybody gets a free 20 to just swap out for a crummy die roll.
Okay, fair enough.
Birthday,
Person
Benny.
there.
Hi.
Hello, Samantha.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So, sorry, I don't want to be short, but I don't want to interrupt the adventure either.
We just killed a giant mole.
A giant mole.
Yes.
Was that the green eyes?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
A
Is
giant
everybody
mole-
here?
I think so.
Yeah.
Michael's
So,
friend
did you-
Joe hasn't quite clicked in all the way, but it looks like he's connecting.
I don't know. He'll rock up when he does.
Did you get the owl bear down the tunnel?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So we just killed a giant mole. Now what?
We're proceeding down that tunnel.
Okay.
I'm leading the way with torch and hammer.
Okay.
Now I understand that. What do we decide your name was? Tinkerbell is leading the way down the tunnel.
All right.
If you call me that,
I didn't. They
I will
did.
not. I will not heal. Never
No
mind. I
healing
don't have
to you.
healing. I
You
have
don't?
providence.
Oh, that's right. So you march your way down the tunnel, another
Yes.
60, maybe 70 feet, and it immediately widens. And what you're looking at is a huge underground city. You count in the darkness at least 7 or 8 buildings that you can see, and they're all
Wow.
large enough to hide other buildings. The only reason there's no natural light in here. The only reason you can see is because there's moss on the sides of the buildings that strobe with light.
What kind of buildings are we looking at?
Several of them are stocky and squarish, the kind that humans build, and there are 2 that are domed at the top, but aside from that are the same. You hear the occasional squelching, but you don't see what's causing it, and you hear a faint drip of water from above you.
How high is the ceiling?
You can't see it from here, even with the strobe light.
Can I use my new boots and find out?
So
Oh,
we must
yeah.
have gone down.
You did go down a little bit, but the gradient wasn't that much. It does seem a bit disproportionate to you that you didn't really descend all that far, right, through both the stairs and the basement and the tunnel to end in a space where the roof is so high you can't see it. There must be some sort of magic or something in play, something that's distorting.
What story is this?
I have proficiency with senses. Could I
Mhm.
try to see if I sense that something weird is going on?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
I think we also decided last time I've got dark vision, but that hinders me in sort of daylight.
Did you want to have dark vision? That's totally up to you.
If I can change my mind now, I will. I'll go without dark vision.
Sure, yeah. Personally, I think since only one of you would have it, it'll be a way bigger headache than if none of you had it. So I'm all for it. But if the party wants you to suffer, that's their call, not mine.
Yeah, I didn't sense anything.
Okay. What'd you get anyway?
A 2.
A 2. Yeah, you're like, smells like dirt.
Oh, if you throw in a proficiency, a 4.
Smells like dirty dirt.
Okay, so is it like a cavern, like a fairly large cavern?
Definitely. You can see for quite a distance. You can see not around the buildings in the middle. There's a bunch of buildings in front of you, probably 8 of them. You'd have with what's the word I'm looking for? Trodden streets. And you can see these in between the flashes of the moss, and you hear a squelching from place to place. But overall, it looks like a well-built city block.
Could
The streets are wide enough for there to have been carts and stuff. You don't see any, but the streets are well beaten and wide enough for that to have been enough.
does it look lived in, or does it look abandoned?
What you can see looks lived in. You can smell plants. You don't see anything, but you can smell, nature at work, right? And it doesn't smell like an old abandoned basin smells. There's enough scent in the air that there's something or someone around here somewhere.
What color is
How close is the closest building?
The closest building is right in front of you, maybe 10 feet.
Oh.
Well,
Could I run up and try to scale one of the buildings to kind of look out into the city?
Yeah, sure. You're a rogue, right?
Anybody around? Okay. Here we go, guys.
Oh, you don't have to roll for that. You're a rogue. You just
I just do it.
You
Okay.
just, right. You Spider-Man, right? And
Right.
you mantle up the side of the building, which is smooth and metal to the touch. But because you're a rogue and you have superpowers, you just do it. So you end up on top of the building, and this one's taller than the other ones nearby, so you can see over the ones in front of you and beyond. And a couple of things immediately catch your attention. There's a
I keep
sound
it
of
like low down, like I'm trying to hide.
okay, good to know. You kind of like Kilroy
Like I
over the top of the
basically
building.
like pop my head over and kind of look
Oh,
around.
okay. My apologies. So you Kilroy over the start of the building.
oh,
And
I get it.
and you see a bunch of other buildings, but two things immediately draw your attention. Three things, rather. There's probably about 18 buildings total. You hear a faint clanging sound, like maybe combat, maybe just something metal scraping on something else that's metal. Who knows? And you see a large sphere, probably 200 feet from here, in the middle of the town, what would be a town square. If it was filled with people, it would be much more convincing. A large sphere that looks like metal with some sort of green stuff growing out of it. There's a big gash in the side of it. Whatever it is, it's definitely broken.
Okay. Okay, so I kind of look down at the group and kind of whisper, not too loudly, but loudly enough for them to hear me, kind of describing what I see.
Okay.
And with that, I'll pull myself up and kind of roll off and stay on the roof.
Okay. As you flatten out up there, you notice when you tumble, you notice something kind of on the wall high up for just a second. You see this big translucent pink thing. It looks kind of like a salamander, except it's as big as a horse and doesn't have any eyes. But it somehow, even though it can't see, it knows you saw it, so it kind of slithers away.
It goes away?
It slithers down onto the ground with everybody else, and you kind of watch it pop into a little hole that you're kind of impressed that it fits into.
Okay. I pop my head back over and say, look out for the salamander. All right.
Is there any kind of doors or windows in this building that we're kind of hiding beside, or?
You're next to the one that Nordir has mounted to the top of?
Yeah.
Yes, there's a building on the left side of it. Takes you, the building faces the outside of the cluster of buildings.
But there's windows, or there's access, or a door?
Yes, there's the doorway, and there's one window large enough you could probably fit a small person into on each side of the building.
Can I peek into the window and see
Sure, yeah.
surreptitiously?
So you look in and you see what is definitely a kitchen. There's a small kind of crockery station and a table with chairs that have food in them. They look old and moldy, but they look like somebody prepared dinner and then just didn't eat it. And another door, like the building, what you're looking at is a kitchen that has a door in it that probably goes to the rest of the house. It looks like a domicile from this perspective.
But it doesn't look like there's anybody there.
No.
It looks like the food is left open.
Yeah, the dust on the table has got to be 2 inches thick. It doesn't look like anybody's been in there for a long time.
Can I?
Door.
Hey guys, I want to go into this building and see what's going on here. What do you think?
I think I should climb to Nordir. Up to the roof.
Sure. You're also a rogue, right? No, you're a warrior.
I'm a warrior.
Right. since rogues are special in that they almost never have to roll to scale anything, but you're not a rogue, roll for that.
3.
Not so much. So you kind of get a running start because you don't really know how to do this. You're like, rah! And you run to the side of the building and do one of those like Zen wall run dealies. You walk, put like 3 steps up the wall and land on your back and look kind of silly.
Ouch.
I do have
Keep
special.
Keep it down, guys.
Am I detecting any magic?
Not a drop. Wait, no, yes, you have a magic, right. You detect a tiny little, and I mean like if you weren't actively looking for it, you wouldn't notice. A little tiny vibration of it coming from that big orb in the middle of town.
Hmm.
So I can see that big orb then.
Yeah, it glows green. It looks an awful lot, from the right angle, the big green glowing rocks look an awful lot like the green eyes that the molds have.
Hmm.
So just if I try to determine what it is, I have to beat a DC of 11.
Yes.
All right. You guys want me to risk it?
But how far are we from the square?
From the square, you're probably a good 60 feet. The buildings spread around it in a big, kind of like a ring, like a wheel.
Are there 6 of us?
I'm not there yet.
Oh, okay. You're waiting for your. Okay.
Yeah, we have to introduce me because I wasn't
Right.
with you guys at the beginning.
Right. Okay.
I would say go for it, Barry.
From this distance, will it work, or does
Yeah,
that make it a
that's
higher DC? Or
It would be an easier DC if you got closer. Given how far you are from it, you're pretty sure you don't have to touch it, but you're pretty sure that if you did, you wouldn't have to roll, and you'd at least have to get closer in order to roll.
You know, from between what I've seen in the house and what Jason, what's your character's name again?
Dear.
Nordir has seen on the roof, like, why don't we just try and, you know, leapfrog up a couple houses and see if we can figure anything out before we stir up the nest too much, potentially.
Could I bounce from rooftop to rooftop, working my way down?
There's definitely enough space for you to just kind of hopscotch from building to building because you're a rogue and you got fancy grace.
Okay. So I'm gonna hop skip my way down across the roofs as stealthy as I can.
Okay. You move 3 or 4 buildings down until you're on top of the building that is closest to the big empty space with the giant metal-clad crystal. It's a domed building, and there was a little bit of a slip and slide as you got up there, but you managed to do it, and you're pretty sure you didn't give anything away. I mean, the lizards can't see, right? They don't have eyes.
Okay. Do I notice any threats or anything as far as living creatures?
You do see a couple of the sightless salamanders doing their best to remain hidden from you, but there's no signs of aggression, even interest. They just kind of slither away as you get closer.
Are these on the roof or
No, they're on the ground amongst the buildings, but they notice you, and every time you jump a building, they slither ahead to the next one. When you close the distance and you're on top of the domed building, they all slither across the town square into the buildings, around the buildings beyond, not into.
Okay. I guess I'll kind of look back down the main street at the group, and I just kind of wave them on. And
Okay.
I'll get my bow out and get ready.
As you
I'll
all,
go for
And I'm keeping an eye on the square and everything. I'm looking for any movement as the party comes up.
okay, you don't
So-
see any movement, but you do hear more of that metal clanging sound.
Clean. Okay.
can we tell where that's coming from?
Definitely, it's coming from a building across, like directly across around the metal-clad ball. There's a small building, single story, no windows that you can see, but a big heavy metal door, and you hear a hanging coming from inside of it.
It's like adjacent from me.
Yes.
I can't see it. I can't see anything.
You can see it through the strobing moss, but you can't see in it.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll hold my position then.
Okay.
Okay, so I come up to him. With the other guys, or no?
I'm there.
Yes.
I'll join in, yeah.
And Barry, were you gonna do some kind of magic check or spell check on the?
Yeah, I'm gonna detect magic on that glowing orb.
Sure, yeah. Are you gonna touch it?
Are you gonna touch it?
Um,
Things to be afraid of.
Okay, I sense magic. You said a little bit from back 60 feet.
Yeah, once you get closer to it, your hair stands on end, not in a negative sense, just in a very, oh look, there's magic in this thing kind of sense.
Okay, I'll try to discern what it is without touching it.
I appreciate the clarification.
All right. Oh, shit. Not rolling like I was last week.
New dice.
What'd you get?
What's my modifier on that? My intelligence?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it
Well-
should be more than just your intelligence. Should be because you are of
Oh.
arcane spell casting, so it should be intelligence
thank
plus.
you for saying that.
plus.
Thank you, Nathan. I forgot about proficiency. Let me roll you
Yeah,
up a
me
card
too.
because you're being
That's why I
real
was
helpful.
texting you the other day about that. It was just throwing me off. I don't know why. So my modifier is +1, proficiency modifier, because I'm level 1, right?
I
No,
actually
plus-
think it's
That's
2.
+2. So do you have what's your intelligence modifier?
2 also.
So 4.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's even better. Instead of tying it, I beat it by 1.
Nice.
I got a 12. 8 on the die.
Nameless cleric of the Tinker. I sent you something. So you kind of channeled the orb, right? And, and there's a little static pulse in your flesh. And you know this thing used to generate actual sunlight. It's a sunlight generator, like a big battery. But it's
All
broken.
right, I share that with everyone around me.
Can we see if it's been broken for a while? Like, is it crystalline or is it sort of metal?
So Jit would have known that when it's been broken for a very long time, and it's not so much like damaged as, you know what batteries look like when they leak?
Yeah.
Like that. So what it was when it was whole was a big green ore, a big green crystal wrapped in cast iron, and the crystal is kind of roded outwards and has kind of come outside of the cage. If you guys could get it back in the cage, if you could essentially reset it, it would throw sunlight.
Oh, intriguing.
No, I guess that wouldn't work. How big is it exactly?
The sphere,
Yeah.
it's probably, let me think of a ball that's it's big. It's like the ball they drop at the end of the year big. It's humongous. There's
Okay.
no way you can pick it up yourself.
And do we know exactly what it's made out of, or it's just like a glowing?
The glow in the crystal is very light. It should be much brighter than this. It's potent light, but it's not throwing particularly far.
Okay, what about the material it seems to be made out of?
The metal is definitely iron. The crystal you've seen before because you're a member of SCAR. It's hard to come by, but it's a relatively rare geode found beneath the earth that all you have to do is charge it with magic and it throws light.
Is it light in weight?
It is light in weight. This whole thing won't weigh. It wouldn't be very much to carry in sheer load, but because of how big it is and because it's wrapped in iron, it's pretty heavy.
You guys froze.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
I can.
I
Yeah.
can.
Okay. Mine just disconnected.
That was weird. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. My internet sometimes just drops magically. So
Oh, fun.
yeah, fun times.
As you're busy evaluating the glow ball. Oh, we lost
Oh, we
Barry.
lost Barry now.
Just his picture.
Hey, Barry, you're back.
Happy
The
birthday.
whole thing is light. I don't know what happened there.
The whole thing itself is fairly light, or it would be, except it's very large and it's wrapped in iron. But the crystal itself weighs very little. As you're busy evaluating it, the building in front of you, the metal door just blows off the front of it, and you see Sam. What does your character look like?
Human. That's all I don't know what she looks like. I haven't drawn her.
Okay, you see a human backing up with what looks like a piece of a metal table, like
That is
a
for sure a
flimsy
human.
sheet. Right, definitely a human with what looks like a piece of tin or metal, some large sheet, and she's using it as a defense maneuver, as one of those moles just does this and is clawing at it and attempting to rend her in half.
So we should probably save this person from the mole.
Okay.
I
We
mean,
didn't know
if
what
you
she
want
did to
to.
them all. Initiative, or are we just going?
Say that again?
Oh, are we rolling initiative, or are we?
Sure, please.
Okay. Because let's say I'd be poised to shoot.
How do
I
we
got
decide to do the initiative? We add our decks or just a roll?
Roll plus your dex modifier.
Okay.
I've got 17.
15.
15.
Well,
Eric, Dusan, you got a 17?
15.
15. Sam, what did you get?
Oh, I didn't roll that. I didn't know I had to. A
Please
D20.
do. D20 plus your dex modifier, even if it's negative.
Okay. Plus the dex modifier is a 13.
Nice. Nordir, what did you get?
it was a 12.
12. And Hermes?
17.
Thank you. I knew there was 17 in this somewhere. And I'm missing the nameless cleric's initiative roll.
15.
Thank you. Oh, we got a bunch in a row there. Hermes, you're up first.
Nice. I get to attack this one.
If you so choose. I mean, you are a giant animal covered in claws.
Yeah, don't kill me.
I feel like I'm going to go with the great axe, though.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to swing that at the mole.
Let's call that with initiative, because the mole has zero interest in any of you. You're not even sure it's seen you yet. It's so focused on killing the human.
So what do I add to my roll for damage now to hit?
To hit, you'll roll you'll add your proficiency to the hit die, and your, let's see, it's a great axe, your strength modifier to the damage.
So where is my proficiency?
Your
Is it just-
proficiency, did you write them down on the character sheet?
I thought I did. Well, I
It would
would have.
be melee right here.
You're a warrior, right? Gonna be a druid at level 3?
Sorry?
You're a warrior, right?
Yes.
You're proficient with strength and con, so you're and coordination, tactics, will, and archetypes. And I'm missing something.
But he would have like proficiency under his weapons.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
there
I
it
got
is.
it open. What is he?
He's a fighter.
You're proficient with all armor and weapons.
Yeah,
If
that's
you can
everything.
kill with it, right? You have proficiency with it.
Yeah,
As a guy who reads a lot of books, it is the list of things you can kill somebody with is enormous.
That's always nice.
Somebody discovering a crystal.
Fancy.
I can't find. I don't think I've written down my proficiency modifier.
You'll
You'd
be
be
a
the
plus
same as
2.
everyone, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Plus
It's just +2, and it goes. If do you have a strength modifier?
Yeah, which is also +2.
Okay, so you're gonna have +4 in the melee triangle right here.
Okay. Right. Oh, I see. I had a question mark over that bit and I didn't fill it. Okay. +2. Ace. Okay. So that's a 12 to hit.
Nice. So you dash forward with the great axe and dig into its back and roll for damage.
And that is 8 plus my strength, which makes it 10.
Nice. You cleave off a giant chunk of the back of this mole. It just blood and sinew goes everywhere, and it backs up and scrambles into the building, attempting to close the door behind it. It doesn't do very well. It reaches for the door that's already been blown off the hinges, but the human's completely safe.
I feel like I want to
Yay!
and just like keep it back.
Wait, quick question. So the mole closed the door?
It looks like it reached for the door. The door has been blown off its hinges and it's on the ground, but it sure did look like it swiped for the door. Yeah.
No ordinary moles.
Hyper intelligent.
I can show you some of those on my body.
Curious moles indeed.
So, is anyone else attacking or going
Nope.
after? It's not dead.
That makes the end of my turn, unless, of course, I can go up to the door and sort of make sure he doesn't shut it.
You can. The door's on the ground though. The mole would have to like come out and pick it up and put it back into place, and that's probably not going to happen.
All right.
Well,
I can approach them all, right?
Yeah, he's inside the small building.
I'll go ahead and approach as far as I can.
Yeah, you can get in the doorway. The space itself is not particularly large. It looks like a storage place. There's a bunch of old cloth and burlap and stuff in the corner, covering what might be crates, a desk, who knows. The major feature of the room is the cornered mole bleeding from the backside, which is not pleased to have you between its only escape route.
Okay. I'm happy enough. I think that'll make my turn.
Nice. Beyond the quivering, cranky, angry, desperate mole, there's no action per se. There is a new human though.
And I've scrambled back, like crab walked back away from the mole rat on the ground.
This is the part where if you want to introduce yourself or role play this out, you can.
Okay.
You don't have to. You can just kind of stay there and crab walk.
The mole's subdued?
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
Okay.
I don't think he's getting past me, in all fairness.
So can we pass Hermes?
Sorry?
Can we pass Hermes and kill the mole?
Can you pass Hermes and kill them all?
Yeah.
The space in the doorway is not wide enough for you to get past him. But I treating those as two separate questions, you can totally kill them all. It is awfully upset and not in great shape. Given how much it's bleeding, it'll probably just die on its own.
Yeah, I just want to finish.
Just
I like
pour
it.
arrow in him.
Take no underground prisoners.
Yeah. 16. I'll do it with my swords.
Okay.
16.
Okay.
Okay, and now it's 14.
Nice. So looking at Hermes' back, you're like, well, I don't fit around him, but I bet I can get up and over him. So you mantle up the side of the owl bear, run across the top of him, fleep into the air, and plunge your swords into the head of the mole, and just cleave its head in half.
excellent.
That's how I want it.
So here you are, up to your neck in mole guts.
That's okay.
An
I will
owl bear
survive.
with a dirty footprint in its fur feathers, and a human that's probably uncomfortable with that sheer amount of barbarism.
Because I have no other descriptors, human female, are you all right?
Thank you for saving me.
So what are you doing down here?
I don't know how I got here. It was kind of an accident. Been traveling by myself since leaving my home, and I haven't seen anybody until I stumbled into the tunnel that led to this cavern and was attacked by the mole rat.
Were you in a tavern?
No, I haven't seen anybody since I left home.
How long have you been down here for?
A day.
Hey. Have you encountered anything other than mole rats?
I've seen the salamanders, but they weren't bothering me, so I left them alone.
Okay. Out of character, what is your class anyway?
Druid.
Okay.
I'll shimmy down the building. Or do I notice anything else going on before I do?
Other than the very perforated, how do we say, extinct giant mole? No.
No. Okay. Then
Is there still noise coming from that building?
No, the noise was you being banged
Okay,
against.
that's what I
by
thought.
Right.
Maybe we should go search some of these buildings.
I mean, I guess there's still noise. There's still the of blood squirting out of the dead mole. But
Oh,
aside
come
from
on.
that,
I'm game for checking out the buildings.
I don't think your water bottle is large enough.
who, me?
think
I
you're
love this thing.
Underachieving.
I am lazy, okay,
That
and
is huge.
I'll drink water all day if it's here. But if I have to go to the kitchen, which is less than 6 feet away, and go get it, you're out of your mind. So I just fill the giant water bottle and call it good.
America.
Right. It is the largest water bottle I've ever seen. If I find a bigger one, I'll buy that.
Yeah, I guess, are we gonna kind of just check out the city then? I guess everybody pick a house or a building.
Pick a house. You get a house, and you get a house.
Underground kingdom.
I
We're gonna
just
go
come to-
individually.
Yeah, let's all separate and check different buildings. That sounds like a great idea.
Well, if I've been down here for a day, I might have checked some of them already.
We're in a square, right? So I mean, we're all right there, just kind of poking our heads in, right?
Yes.
That's what we set up. Okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah, don't go too far.
Oh no, I kind of like the idea of creating
Did you
peril.
tell us your name there, Druid?
I haven't. It's Ikale.
Ikale. Has Ikale checked out some of the buildings?
She has.
Yes.
All right. What have you found? Anything?
Nothing different from what you guys found in the first building. The dust over everything.
Hmm.
No
and the
no
food.
special treats.
So you haven't seen anything else besides the salamander and your mole?
Oh, and may have been down there for about a day, but maybe it took me a while to get to where you guys were. So I only had been there for maybe an hour or two longer than you guys.
How did you get here?
Fell into a tunnel
Oh,
from above.
gotcha.
So there's got to be some sort of route out of the cavern that we're
Like
in.
in the forest or?
Forest sounds good.
Yeah.
The tunnel you fell into, you can actually see. Well, you can't really see it. The strobe light doesn't go far enough, but you know about where it is. There's a big
Mhm.
hole in the ceiling, maybe 150 feet from here on the edge of the cavern. The only reason you didn't get hurt when you fell, because you fell pretty far, is there's a big old mudslide that's hardish, but still soft enough that you kind of alley-ooped down it. There's
Okay.
still a
Not
fair
pretty
amount
dirty.
of there's still a fair amount of ambient moisture in the air.
So I
Well,
guess I'll put my head in one of the houses or buildings that are close by.
Sure.
Are there any houses that IKEA hasn't already checked?
Oh, most of them. I kind of assumed that you were almost immediately attacked by a giant mole.
Pretty recently.
So if you go poking through the houses, you'll come up with two, loot, obviously. Right? I'm not going to leave you hanging on loot. But you'll also deduce fairly easily that it's an abandoned town, whether that means everybody is gone or everybody was killed or whatever. But you'll come across one building that's an armory, one building that's an old grain house. The grain's still there. It's gone rotten and rancid, but it's still there. Various houses with dinner tables with food still in them. One building, the big domed one, is probably some sort of fancy mayoral place, something political. It's physically larger and taller than all of the other ones. The furnishings inside are fancy. Everything is made out of metal. Everything. The buildings themselves are made out of metal. The furniture is made out of metal. Everything.
So looking at this, could we deduct that it's dwarven or human or other?
That was what I was going to ask.
None of you have ever heard stories of people making buildings entirely out of metal. But as you dig around and kind of poke through the stuff, you notice that the ground you're standing on is also made out of metal.
Are the doors a particular height? Are they sort of shorter than your average human settlement?
No, they're all a little bit larger than your average human settlement. And none of those doors is shorter than 10 feet.
Did we find any paper or anything written, anything?
You don't find any documents per se, but you do find the occasional big cloth tapestry with what looks like a big burning brand of a hand set on a big swirl that might be a black fireball, might just be somebody's colorful interpretation of the void. Who knows?
I'm very intrigued because this metal. I'm kind of a fan of metal because it is made. It's something that's created.
Oh, you're all level 2. I almost forgot.
What?
Oh, well, thank you.
Woohoo.
That anything for level 2?
Yeah, you all get something. Hold on.
I think we get to roll a hit die.
There's that, but you also all get a fancy ability. All the warriors get the ability to counterattack up to twice a fight. On somebody else's turn, they hit you and you immediately hit them back. And you roll all the warriors for new hit points roll a d10 and add your con modifier. Thieves get a d6 and your con modifier, and the ability to stealth as a quick action instead of a whole one.
Rolled an 8 on that d10.
Oh, come on. I rolled a 1.
Ouch.
Hit dice.
So we only have one mage, right?
Yep.
You add a d6 in your con mod, and this is really fun. I think it's really fun anyway. Once per rest, next time you get hit, you can reduce it by your intelligence modifier, and you can make as a quick action, and you can maintain that per turn with a concentration check.
Can I trade in my natural 20 for a reroll on my hit points?
Sure, let's call it a maximum roll though, because a nat 20 is fancy. So let's call
really?
that just an 8 plus your con mod. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And you get a fancy power. Once per safe rest, you can heal somebody for a d6 per level in hit points. It's not a
Okay.
spell, so you can't screw it up. You just do it.
I could heal a d6.
Per level that you have, yes. So right
Okay.
now, I guess it's actually
Nice.
2d6.
Okay. So I have 13 hit points.
That's a hardy priest.
So being a zealot class, that applies to me too?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so what do I have to do?
So you get your fancy healing power, which I will send you later, unless you want to go over it right now. And you roll an 8-sided die, and you add your con modifier. Whatever that new number is, you tack it on your hit points that you already have.
So 8-sided die plus what?
Plus your con mod, your constitution modifier.
Okay, so that's a -1. So I got a 7.
Nice. What is your maximum hit points right now? 4 or 5 or something, right?
Where is that max? I don't even know where I put that.
Oh, that's right. You have a -1 for your con mod. Your starting hit points is 5, so your maximum hit points is 4, plus your new number. What's your new number? You just rolled it.
7.
7. 4 plus 7 is, I can do basic math. That's what, 11?
Yeah.
Your new hit point total is 11.
I got to
Okay.
dip for just a quick second.
Sure.
So then proficiency, because I'm on level 2, it's +2 and then +2 again.
No. Proficiency bonuses are strangely arbitrary. There's nothing you can do about it. When you can't like get a better skill or whatever. Proficiencies just grow with you as you level up.
Okay, so it's a +2.
It's a +2. You are proficient with, in case we didn't go over it. I'm not sure we did. All simple weapons. So nothing a soldier would use, but anything makeshift or basic. So a longbow, yes. Warbow, no. You're proficient with all armor, no matter what. If you're considering your priest as kind of the zealot class is kind of squishy, like from a video game, think less like that and more like heavily armored, like a knight who wears robes and
Okay.
carries a mace. Clerics are hardy and righteous. Priests stand in church and make a big fuss. Zealots go in the holes and bring the might of their god to the enemy's doorstep. They're much more in your face and effective than a priest. You're proficient with, in case you want to write this down, or we can talk about it after.
I am putting it on my character sheet right now.
Okay. You're proficient with armor and all simple weapons,
Okay, write that down.
and wisdom and charisma saves. Spellcasting, history, and insight. And that last one's particularly vague. Feel free to roleplay that however you like.
Okay, spellcasting.
History and insight.
Yeah. Go for a week.
Five Torches Deep takes a fairly abstract definition to things. Like thieves are proficient with tools. That covers a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody all set with their new level benefits?
Just for warrior, can you repeat it?
You bet. Did you roll
HP.
Did you roll your new hit points?
No.
For a second. Very bad.
Sure. So
Mhm.
Gerard, you're gonna roll a 10-sided die and add your con modifier.
1.
Ouch.
Oh,
Oh. Just a thought. You could swap out that nat 20 roll.
Yeah, maybe I should do it.
If you do that, let's call that a maximum roll. So a 10 plus your con
10.
mod instead, which is much better.
Yeah.
That's add that the new number you have, the one you just rolled, to your hit point total. And warriors get multi-attack like nobody's business in Five Torches Deep. Not like in 5e, that's crazy, but like here. So up to twice a fight, so 2 times per battle. When somebody hits you in melee, you can immediately hit them back. You can interrupt their turn to use a counter attack,
Mm-hmm.
where you roll the hit and do damage like normal. That is not the same thing as the multi-attack you'll get later on that just lets you attack multiple times a turn. Warriors get action economy like it's going out of style. And I think they're the only class that does.
Okay. So my HP will be the same.
Your hit points, so your what is your con modifier right this minute?
11.
11. 11. You don't have a con modifier. Okay, because 10 and 11 are non-benefit or deficit numbers. So
Okay.
you don't have a con mod. So your starting hit points are 6. Plus the 10 you just rolled, your hit points went from 6 to 16.
Mm-hmm. And
You'll
my
have to-
was 17 was.
Say again?
It was 17 and now it's 16.
Wait, how did your hit points get to 17?
It's strength.
Oh, you
No,
don't.
Constitution.
You don't add your cons. Do you have a con modifier? Your con is 11, right?
Yeah.
Okay. As that's your Constitution score, not the modifier that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
With a score of 10 or 11, you don't get a modifier. The good news is you don't have a negative. The bad news is you don't have a positive.
Okay.
At level 4, ability score increases end up on the table. I would probably swing for Constitution when that was, if I was building a warrior. But then again, I'm kind of a min-maxer. So I know, guilty pleasure of mine.
Understood.
So here you are, all fully regenerated and everything. Well, mostly. I suppose taking a nap wouldn't hurt you guys. And there's an abandoned city for you to peruse and poke at.
I want to go search that mayor house.
Sure. So you go back to the big domed building, right? There are several windows and they're large. They're big enough for grown men to fit into. They're big and looped on the top and flat on the bottom. They're fancy windows. And there's maybe a 12-foot door. It's big and imposing for no real reason, because once you get inside, everything inside is the same proportions as all of the other stuff in the other buildings. The door is big for giggles. You're looking at a big entryway with columns and fluffy red pillows that have seen better days because they're covered in dirt, and sitting benches on the sides, like if somebody tried to fit a castle atrium in the front of this building, and a set of stairs that go up, and 2 doors, a set of stairs, like a center staircase, and 2 doors built into the base of it that go in. So you've got options to go up and got options to go straight up.
I'm going to go up.
Okay. You go up the top of the stairs, and you see in front of you at the foot of the stairs, there's a large desk, also made out of metal. It's black. And there's a weird, it's warm. The desk itself is radiating some kind of heat, but beyond that, there are 2 doors, one to your left and one to your right.
I want to examine this. I take my hammer and give a little tap, tap, listening for the sound of the metal.
Okay. On the side of the desk?
And looking around the desk just to see where's this heat coming from.
Okay. The desk.
I'm really curious because, I'm assuming the world is new. I don't know how far technology has gone. Obviously, we have steel weapons, but this metal would seem to be advanced.
Yes, it would. The metal itself is just, most of it's just iron or steel, but the ability to create something
that big and that significant, yeah.
Right. So as you kind of fuss over the desk and hit it with your hammer and kind of poke at it and tinker with it, you come to come with the knowledge, come to the determination. I don't know, however you want to phrase that. It occurs to you that the bottom drawer radiates with more heat than anything else, and you're pretty sure that whatever is giving off heat is in it, and that all the heat is coming from there. The metal isn't hot to the touch or anything, but there's a distinct difference in the heat in the room because of the desk.
Well, getting my head and any tender bits out of the way, I open the drawer.
Boom! No, I'm just kidding. The drawer slides open.
I'm hiding. I'm not in the line of sight of the open drawer. I'm not going to get darted in the face.
Yeah, certainly not. There is no trap. You open the drawer, and you peer over the edge of it, little tiny bit, and there is a little tiny blue candle, like this length of a human finger, and about the same dimensions. There is a little tiny blue candle that radiates enough heat that it really should be burning, but it's not.
I found Zyma's candle. Cool. So it's not burning, but it's radiating heat?
Yes.
Well.
And it's blue, if that matters.
Yeah. I'm going to take it.
Okay. Upon touching it, the heat goes out, and a candle flame shoots out of the top of it.
Okay. And then if I put it back down, like on the desk for a
The
second?
candle remains burning, and the general heat in the air is the same as it was.
Can I, like, blow the flame out?
Yeah, sure. And it just goes out. No extra resistance or anything. The fire itself.
And then
doesn't
what
seem-
if I pick it up again?
It lights up again.
Nifty. Okay, I blow it out and I put it in my bag.
Okay. What are the rest of you guys doing? I'll get back to you in a second.
Okay.
I would have went into what I guess would have looked like another fancy building in the
Okay.
square.
Okay, you find one. Most of them look the same,
Mhm.
except for the big domed one. But most of them look pretty much the same from the outside. Maybe if there was more light, you'd be able to see some distinction or anything. But in the flashing darkness, it's kind of hard to see. It's vaguely disorienting. And you get inside one of the buildings, and you're looking at a large, long, like a foot locker, but it's big, like a chest that comes up to your waist. And it's adorned in filigree, like somebody melted gold into this giant metal chest. And there's a depiction of what looks like a big fight. Lots of humanoids. It's well made, but it's not well drawn. It looks like maybe 50, maybe 80 humanoid creatures in armor and weapons engaging what I'm going to describe as a large pile of tentacles and teeth.
Maybe. Dinner served.
Special delivery.
Well, okay, sorry. So yeah, Ryan over. All right. So it has carvings of tentacles.
It has a depiction on it. It itself is well made, but the drawing itself is crude. This filigree gold depiction shows on one side 50, maybe 60, what looks like humanoids in armor and weapons advancing on what appears to be a maw of tentacles and teeth. It looks like they're losing.
Sucks for them. You said this was gold?
The filigree, the image set into the giant metal box is gold, yes.
Okay. I'll go ahead and I'll step back, use my sword to pop it open.
Little healthy paranoia, right? So you kind of pry the chest open a little bit, and inside of it is this gorgeous black supple bow made out of what looks like wood, but when you touch it, it's cool to the touch. And several strings next to it that look like they would fit perfectly, like backup strings.
Okay.
Ooh, that's worth remembering.
Definitely so. I'll definitely take that and hold
Okay.
on to it. I'll close the lid back.
Sure.
And with my thieves' tools, maybe I'll have something where I can just kind of chisel away some of the gold.
Sure. Yeah.
Pouch.
If you want to spend a little time chiseling that, you could probably get, all of the gold out of it. The
All right.
beads are pretty, the track they melted it into is pretty wide. You can fit your tools in there.
Okay.
This contributes to how come the drawing is so poorly made.
So much to priceless artwork. Just
So what are the rest of you doing while he's busy marking priceless materials?
Is there any building that
Looking
might
at
look
the
like a
bow.
library or something?
Not from the outside, but as you poke around through the various buildings, you do find a library. Yeah.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Are you looking for anything specific? Any titles that, any subjects that you're looking for?
History,
Okay. Okay. As you dig through,
politics.
as you dig through the various tomes, right, you come across several options that strike your historical fancy. You find one called The Mystery of the Western Cranes, which is, as you flip through it, is a personal account. What appears to be a personal account, just because somebody wrote a book doesn't mean it's true, right? But what it appears to be a personal account of a mage who was on the front line of a war in the West with giant metal creatures with long necks and scooped faces that would dig into the earth and tear off large chunks of earth and rock. You find a book called City of the Waves, which describes in great detail, but focusing on the buildings and not so much the people or what happened. A large city also to the west that is, in theory, underneath the ocean.
The west.
Atlantis.
And what does it mean by the west? Like from the west of where we are?
To the west of the known lands, which is several hundred miles from here.
And that's the area that is like still growing.
Yes.
At least we think.
The entire map is still growing, but the outer edges of it have kind of settled in place for the most part.
Are there any books on local customs, a log, a books like a judicial log or journal, anything along those lines? I want to get some information about the town if it's possible.
This town, sure. You find a book that's small. It's probably like a pocket diary size. It's black. It's black is the same colors as the metal walls and everything, but it's got a leather bound cover. And it's called the Lucastrine Way, and it depicts the story of the people who lived here from a very personal kind of diary point of view, dated entries, names, that kind of thing.
Okay, are they human?
Yes, the people mentioned in it come across as human. You see the writer, who just brands himself as Collins. There's no last name. He mentions that some of the people, he marks on some of the people in the town how they looked, that they were tall, and most of them were tall, slender, and across various passages he'll make mention of their eyes and their ears and their number of limbs, right? You could deduce from the writings that everyone was human. Yeah.
And anything about that orb?
Yes, there are various passages that the whole book paints a picture of these people, that it doesn't make any mention of how they got here, but that they set up shop in the town with the same general benefits that you do on the surface, because the giant ball threw enough sunlight that they existed down here as they do above ground. There was a farm, and people raised their children and everything, and they built everything out of metal because the mole creatures ate all the dirt. They used this. There's a mention of the sightless salamanders glanced out outside as mounts to get around. About halfway through the book, passages start to appear about how the moles would come and invade the town to attempt to take bites out of the buildings. And the people found that mole was not only good once you cooked it, but it provided a lot of material for both clothing and food. So it was a public nuisance killing because we eat the buildings, because they eat the buildings, and because you could use them for food and clothing.
Mole steak.
Yummy.
How big are the salamanders?
The salamanders they're the same proportions of a salamander, which is to say they're wider than they are tall, but they are about horse sized. You could ride one.
Okay, so these people actually rode those things.
Yeah, yeah.
According to this. All right, is there any trade logs?
You don't come across any logs for trade or commerce, no.
Nothing about politics with other communities or...
No, the closest thing you find is a book that discusses that several members of the town argued over who was going to be leader. And that whoever was going to win that was going to live in the big fancy building, but it doesn't sound like anybody ended up there.
Okay, so I'm going to the next building.
Sure. You end up in what is definitely an armory. There's various armor ranging from light, like chest pieces and jerkins, to more heavier things like heavy plate, swords, great swords. It's a well-packed armory. And on the other kind of half of it, you come across more sundry-esque things. Torches, nets, that sort of thing. They all look in relatively well-made condition, just that they're covered in dirt because no one's touched them for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else? Just the armory?
In that building, just a large arsenal of armor, weapons, and various assorted other things.
Mm-hmm. So I shout to the party, if someone needs an armor, can come here and take it.
Are there bows in the building?
Yes. There are.
So I go in to get one.
Sure. You
Mine burned up.
You find a bow that'll work just fine for you. Kind of soft and stretchy, right? Strong enough to pierce through, strong enough draw to pierce through people. Not so strong as to break your arms when you use it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably mosey over there and look for a dagger or two.
Okay. You find several daggers, but they're weird in design. They're you know what a kris is? Daggers with kind of the wavy shape.
Mm-hmm.
You find a fistful of those, and I do mean a fistful. Like there's 9 of them. They're all small enough that you could throw them, but still large enough that you could, use them the old-fashioned way.
For the sticking the pointy end into the man.
He gets my point.
Is there anything else in the room that I'm in or anything else I notice? If not, I want to go to the basement.
Sure. You don't see anything up around the desk or anything. There are 2 doors about, one to the end of the walkway and one at the other end of the walkway, but not up front, no.
So there's 2 more rooms upstairs?
Right. You walked up the set of stairs. There's a desk at the threshold, and then the walkway splits off to the left and right.
So I want to check the other rooms.
Okay. If you go into the left room, you'll find a very, very dead man on the floor. His head's been torn off and it's tucked in the corner, like somebody picked it up and moved it manually. It can't have fallen that way.
Okay. And he's like a skeleton, or?
Oh yeah, you wouldn't even know he was a man, except his clothes and armor are larger up top than they are on the bottom. In life he must have been fairly muscular, or that armor would be smaller.
If I look more closely, is there anything on him?
On the armor, underneath the dirt, is that same insignia you saw in some of the tapestries on the wall. The red hand set on the black swirl. But aside from that, nothing of note. No, he does smell a little bit. He smells like burning. He smells like that charcoal smell you get when something gets set on fire and is let to cook out on its own.
Okay. Well, I'll go to the other room.
The other room, there is a person dressed just like that who is also dead, but substantially smaller in frame, probably a woman. But we're talking strictly skeletal remains, no muscle, no flesh, nothing like that. Same smell, though.
So we haven't seen any bodies or any skeletons anywhere else?
Nope, just those 2 so far.
So, those salamanders, did we see where they retreated to?
They haven't really gone into holes or anything. It's not like they vanished. They just kind of try and stay away from you. No matter wherever any of you move to, they try and kind of keep a building between you and them.
And are they wearing anything like saddles or maybe saddlebags?
They're not wearing any kind of kit or gear, no.
Right. Okay.
So can I go to the basement?
Sure. When you end up in the basement, you find kit and saddle that look a bit weird. Like they don't look like they fit on a horse because the kit is wider than it is tall. It would probably fit on a salamander, though.
A salamander.
Salamander. Nice.
And I definitely grab one of some of the tack and make my way back outside to see what everyone else is up to.
Okay. As you rummage up the tack and scoop it up in your arms and head outside, you notice on a shelf as you head outside that there's a bunch of little baubles and little glass figurines, like little glass cats and little glass moles and that kind of thing. And in amongst them, a little tiny Diaz, and I mean tiny, like the size of a nickel. And on it is a little tiny glass orb, like a house marble, but it doesn't have a cat's eye swirl in it. Go ahead.
Oh, I would go check those things out more closely.
Okay. The figurines, they're pretty. They're really well made, but they don't radiate magic or anything. And you would be in a position to know.
Well, I think I might grab them anyways because they look maybe like they could be valuable.
Okay. They're definitely glass. They're fragile. So if you're looking to sell them, be careful with them. You know.
Mm-hmm. And the marble one, that's kind of stuck out to me, or not?
It stuck out in two senses. One, that it's very plain in amongst a bunch of things that are not plain, and it radiates magic, but not the divine kind. It doesn't feel like a divine item, but it definitely gives you that electrostatic crackle.
Well, I'll grab it and see what the mage thinks. But
Do
I have any sense that it's like that it's evolved with chaos or divine, like dark magic?
You can smell a vague, like once upon a time, maybe it was blessed by, like an old feel that a god who is not the tinker touched it, whether through one of their priests or them directly. But you have to really dig underneath all the other magic to feel that. And when you do, it's not comfortable, which suggests that it's not a tinker object.
Well, I think I'm just going to leave it there.
Okay.
Sorry. Anybody want? Just in character here.
I didn't mean to. My bad.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take the trinkets, and I will go outside, and I'm gonna show the others what I've found. Tell them about my magical candle that I'm very impressed with. It's like the Bic lighter of the early world. Maybe if somebody asked about what I found, they would end up finding things that I left behind.
I thought you were going to tell us.
But
no, I showed you what I found.
Yeah. Like, hey guys, look it! I got little glass figurines.
So are we all meeting?
We should make a rule set for these
stories here.
Say that again.
Are we all meeting up and sharing our stories, our information?
Yep, I'll be sitting out on the in the courtyard, probably taking my 9 daggers and finding hiding places.
Getting them into the clothes.
Yeah. Like I'm cutting little holes to start putting them in places.
Do you have a bunch of dreads you can weave them into?
Yeah.
You ever see that episode of Stargate where they lock everybody up, and I think it's Rowan, right? Starts pulling daggers out of his hair because they've arrested him and they're trying to take everybody's weapons. And
Isn't that the Jason Momoa character?
Yes. He undoes another dread and there's another dagger, and they fill a table with him. And they're like, "Man, how many more of those do you have?" And he goes, "Enough."
I was thinking of my kids have been making me watch Full Metal Alchemist. So Mei Chang has these. She's a little 10-year-old girl who has these daggers, and she seems to produce them out of her hair.
Yeah.
Little throwing daggers.
Which one? Full Metal Alchemist or Brotherhood?
Brotherhood.
Oh, nice. Much better. Good call.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's my personal bias.
I don't think that's just personal. Like there's very much evidence to suggest that.
This is a fair point. I don't want to steer anybody one way, but yeah, you're totally right.
Brotherhood's been rated the best story anime of something or other at some point.
It's a great story. I still have other favorites, but if what you're looking for is a anime story with alchemy in it, yeah, I don't think you can do better than Brotherhood.
Agreed.
So anyways, I tell them I found this candle and I found all these trinkets. I don't know if they're valuable, but they looked kind of cool. And I wrap.
I'll tell everybody about the picture on the chest before I carved it up.
I
You gonna
show
fill out for me,
everybody
Bo?
the book.
Oh yeah,
About the metal giants in the West.
You said this place smelled like it was occupied.
Yes, there's a faint smell of BO's probably a bit on the nose, but it does smell like the living. And there's a slight scent. You know what acid smells like when it gets kind of, not acid, that's the wrong word. You know,
Like
potato.
rotten egg or something.
Yeah, right. There's a sulfur smell in the air combined with that sweet ucky smell that potatoes make when they go really, really bad.
Ugh.
Sounds delightful. I'm sure my character would love it.
But you said there was food still here. Is it like old food, rotten food, or is it like fresh?
It's old food, and much of it is rotted away, but you find, and it's all still out. There's a bunch of food on plates and what looks like water in cups that are also metal, right? Everything's metal. But
Do you notice like any, like on the walls, or because everything's metal, so do we notice like burn marks or damage, or do we notice like any tunnels that have been carved into the walls?
You notice a bunch of like trenches outside, but not in any of the buildings. The trenches themselves look very much like they've been burned there by acid. The trenches aren't very thick. We're talking like a quarter inch, maybe less, into the metal floor.
Right. Can we hear any sort of commotion right now? Maybe scratching or...
You hear a couple of things. There's a drip from what's definitely water falling. You can't see it in between the strobe lights because the drip is too minor and the strobe lights flash. The strobe moss flashes too much, but you can definitely pinpoint it. There's water dripping from somewhere above you into the town, and you hear the occasional of one of those lizards sneaking around. But aside from that, no, there's no wind, there's no clanging, there's no scratching, nothing like that.
No moles.
No moles.
We came in through the tunnel. We came in. It was like a natural tunnel, right? It wasn't stone or anything.
No, it was carved out of the dirt. Yeah, there was nothing particularly fancy about it.
Okay, and we don't notice any other entrances to this area?
Not in the middle of town, but I can go on a limb and assume that you kind of perused the perimeter while you were looking for buildings. Then you would have found various tunnels that some of them are higher up in the walls, like you can't reach them from here. You'd have to like come up with a ladder or something. But there are some that are neat, like on the level with you, cumulatively, that you not just that you can get into, but that you can see. There's at least 50 or 60 tunnels going various directions that are all on the perimeter of the town. None of them are kind of on the grounds.
You say town. I guess I'm thinking like there's just a ring of buildings. How many buildings are we talking about in this?
As you've gone around the circumference, there's at least 60 or 70 of them. It's a town.
Oh, okay, it's much bigger than I thought. Okay.
It's big. There's a place that's this giant empty plot with what looks like shriveled old crops in it, plants that weren't picked and then went fallow.
So I guess everybody's kind of done perusing and we're all kind of in the courtyard.
Yeah, I want to check out that thing that the Tinker worshipper there found. The one he left behind.
Okay.
Spooked him.
Okay.
Hold on. Does anybody? Okay, so the spear in the middle. Does anybody have any tools, like craftsman tools or anything?
I have a shovel.
Oh, a
Not
shovel.
amazed to find that I do.
I have a very nice hammer.
I got a smith kit.
I am proficient in tools. So
Are there tools in the
Are
armory?
there any tools around there?
yeah, there was an armory right next to it. So would I be able to find some basic tools and try to see if me and Nathan, I forget your character's name.
You have to give me one. I am the nameless.
I'm thinking
I-
Barry. Barry, what was your name? Barry, what was your character's name?
Just call me Jet.
Jet. Okay.
Jeterum.
So I'm thinking if I get some tools and he can kind of point out a couple things, maybe I could try to fix this globe.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can dig through the armory and come up with various tools one might use to evaluate it.
Okay. When I
Fi-
pick up some tools and I say, Jet, come on over.
Sure.
Okay.
I
Right.
suppose I could accompany him and see if there's like sort of any particularly oversized heavy armor.
You don't so much find an owl bear suit, right? But there's enough pieces of fragments of leather armor and jerkins and whatnot that you could, with a little bit of help, you could take them apart and kind of retrofit a suit of owl bear armor. It wouldn't be particularly pretty, but it would work.
Like he does currently have leather.
Okay. You could do the same thing with the heavier metal stuff, but it would take more time and you need help.
Right.
But you do
Okay.
have friends, so
I still have friends. Friends, help.
I will help.
I can help.
Make suit.
I can help fashion things. At least I think I can.
I think I can.
I don't think fashion's the object, yeah.
Okay, so if me and Jet try to piece this thing together, like, and I know in D&D we roll with advantage. Does that work here, or
Definitely. Definitely. So if you guys, there's no real challenge here. There's enough
Okay.
parts left over. So you can just kind of, if you want to roll to see how long it takes, you can, but you can definitely assemble it without too much difficulty. It's really the particulars of making a bunch of humanoid armor, take it apart and then fit it. I'm going to use the word custom really, really uniquely here. Custom fit it to an owl bear that's going to wiggle and crank the whole time because you're kind of poking him and pressing him with metal plates.
okay? I was talking about the sphere.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. The sphere, evaluating that isn't particularly difficult. It's big and heavy, so you'll need help to kind of hoist it up to get a better look at it.
All right, we got a big owlbear for that.
But lifting it up and then analyzing it with the little pry bars and hammers and mallets and scopes you find in the armory, you come away with a couple of pieces of information. The crystals have gotten larger over time. They kind of grew outside the frame. And you're pretty sure that just kind of breaking them off, trimming it back down won't work. You have to kind of reset the crystal somehow. And the crystal itself is leaking. There's a big crack in the side of it, and this ucky blue liquid that smells terrible is leaking out of the base of it. Just a little leak, a drop here, a drop there.
Like Chernobyl style, eh? Oh, so there's no way of fixing it then?
No, you're pretty sure that if you could find something to reset the crystal, that would fix it. That you'd have to kind of heal the crystal, and you'd have to get it to be the normal size. As a rogue, you have no idea how to do that.
Yeah, I just dropped my tools.
But you come away with the knowledge that it is definitely fixable, just not with tools. More like with a missing piece.
Gotcha.
A crystal
The nameless one
band-aid.
have left the missing piece in the house.
Say that again?
Could our nameless one have left the missing piece with the figurines? That little marble.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I said I wanted to go check that out. That was the thing that he was scared of,
Just
right?
quick though, is
Yes.
there do I see any kind of connection between those things?
You don't. The glass ball, as far as you're concerned, is just a slightly larger than average marble that kind of gives you the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, and so I left it alone because those things shouldn't be messed with.
When do we want to close this up? I forget. Was that 7 or 8?
You said 8, I think.
Okay. If you guys are up for 8, I'm up for 8. That's where I was running with, but I was making sure.
I can play as late as you guys want to.
Sure.
Can go till 8.
Okay, sure. 8 it is. So
let me go scoot down there and check out that evil thing.
you bet. Yeah, I love it. You're like the evil marble, right? So you go
I'm
to.
a man of science here.
So you go
You're
down.
not.
Well, I was just thinking that.
Arcane science.
Oh, I'm sorry. Super science, mystical juju, right? Dr. Mage. So you find yourself in front of this little overgrown marble, right? And do you touch it?
Well, no, I'm detecting magic.
Okay. It does just stink of magic. It
All right.
smells heady and makes your head spin a little bit, but it's not necessarily a negative in feeling, just really intense.
Okay. Am I alone, or are these guys? Did anyone come with me?
I would have walked on down with you. I would want to check out this place.
Sure.
Okay. You might want to stand back.
Oh yeah. No, magic freaks me out. I'm.
All right. So I take out my dagger and I'm gonna slice my hand open, and I'm gonna drip my blood on the marble.
Ooh.
And I'm going to see if I can determine what it is.
Let's just be
Sure.
clear. This is definitely not science.
I don't know. Didn't everybody slit their hands open and it as part of the scientific method in high school? No, you didn't. Maybe that was just my teacher. Huh. Now I have questions.
Human dissection is what we call that.
I
More of
rolled
a-
a 14,
Nice.
including my modifier. So 10 on the die.
So you get a little blood on your hand, right? And you wrap it around the marble, and you surge with such force you actually come off the floor for a second by a couple of inches. There's this huge electric charge, and you know that the marble is called an Eye of the Magi and hurls lightning bolts a couple of times a day.
Oh, well, that's going right in my pocket.
Yeah.
You also know that it's incredibly fragile because it is the magic in it is magic. The glass is just glass. If that thing takes too much damage, it'll explode and do a lot of damage to everything within 50 feet.
Oh,
The Scar, the college that you're from, outlaws these things because of how dangerous they are.
oh.
Well, then you should get rid of it.
See who knows better?
But I gained in knowledge and you stayed in the dark.
Like a
The
thermobaric
Tinker
grenade.
operates in order.
Okay,
I'm
I'm
actually the
looking at,
closest to a man of science here.
So, sorry, what is the thief's name? Character's name?
No, Nordir.
Nordir. Okay, Nordir, I'm looking at you, and I explain to you what this is, and I say it would make a great weapon, but it's very dangerous.
So for just a second, Nordir, you see him look like one of those cats in the cartoons when they shake off after they get wet. They poof.
So I take a step toward you. So it just looks like a glass ball, right? Nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't have like any
They all covered
glowy
in
effects or
blood.
anything.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I guess it's covered in blood. Now it's a gross glass marble.
So looking at it, so just keep it away from me.
Oh, could be a lot of fun. It could be very useful.
It
Throw
could.
it at somebody.
Keep it handy.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in a very safe spot.
Yes. Definitely don't sit on it. Treat it like an iPhone.
Well, it's going where my components go.
There you go.
Do I want to know where you know what? I don't. I don't want to know where you keep those.
Okay. All right.
Oh, so the bow I found, was anything special, or is it just a?
It's
Black.
very, very well made.
Okay.
It's not magical, but it's you hold it in your hands and it's perfectly well balanced, and it's reinforced on the edges. It does, because I don't know what your bow does because that's on your character sheet. It does die up than the one you have now, and works perfectly fine as a melee weapon. You can hit somebody with it and you don't risk breaking it. But beyond that, it doesn't have any magical powers or anything. No.
Okay.
What die do you currently have now?
A D8.
Well, now it does a D10.
Yeah, now
No.
a D10.
It does a D9.
That's true. If you want to get all, you know.
I'm joking. I don't have a D9. There's no such thing.
Yes, there is. Dungeon, I think. Isn't there a D9?
No.
Dungeon Crawl Classics doesn't use a D9? Really?
Nope.
That strikes me as odd. You'd feel like there'd be a D everything. I mean, there's a D100, which is different than a D100, which is silly.
I would say as we kind of leave the basement area, I kind of give Jet like another 10 extra feet until he gets used to this new little item that he has.
Okay. Did you take those extra
I play it
bowstrings
off,
with you?
though. I play it off as I'm like looking around, but really I'm letting him get a little ahead of me.
Good call. When you grabbed the bow, did you snatch those extra strings?
Yes.
Okay. So here you are in an underground city, right? With the nameless cleric grabbed some tack that I suppose you guys could try and wrangle.
I am definitely trying to ride a salamander horse.
Okay.
A horse-amander.
So how exactly are you going to get the drop on a horse-amander?
Well, I start by using clever sounds like
You don't get the reaction you were hoping for. One of the horse-amanders kind of kirks its head like a dog and kind of slithers away at the idea. You're pretty sure it said something mean about you with its tail as it slithered away. You know?
Are these like around, like sort of backing away towards, say, the back end of a building?
They don't go in the buildings. As soon as he starts advancing and going right, they kind of slither away.
I take a little bit of food from my pack and just like try and.
What is the food? Like a trail ration?
Yes.
Okay. You watch a big tongue, flit out of the mouth of one of these things, and it stabs the air a couple times with it, and that doesn't entice it at all. It does stop moving away from you for just a second while it goes, nope, and then slithers away.
I have a fishing net.
Go around the horse-amander and, say, coax it away from me towards Nameless.
Ooh. So divide and conquer on the horse-amander. Okay. As you kind of you stomp your way towards the horse-amander, it freaks out, doubles back, and charges towards the Nameless priest. What do? I mean, you don't have a lot of time before it tries to find another.
I'm going to try and jump on its back while it runs by. So I'm going to use but I'm wearing heavy armor. So this is really not something I can do.
Let's call that a dex check at disadvantage.
So I have a dex check at disadvantage and I have -1. So let's see what happens.
Ouchies.
I'm going to roll my first ever D20 from when I was a kid.
Oh, fancy.
It's garbage, actually. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I rolled I have to take the lower roll.
Yeah.
A 9.
Could have been worse, right? You do make it into the air and on the back of the salamander, but you don't quite stick the landing, and you slide off and you land in the space where it was as it slithers past where you were. Oh, hi, cat. My cat's decided she wants to be a part of things. And you get a little burning sensation. Now you know where those tracks are coming from. It leaves by a little viscous residue like a slug, but it's acidic, and you've landed in it. Your armor takes a point of durability damage.
What? Okay.
New plan. Are these guys anywhere near other buildings?
The slugs, excuse me. The salamanders, yeah, they kind of stay between the buildings, just trying to stay away from the rest of you.
So can I use my new boots?
Although I
get
suppose
up-
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Can I use one of my new boots and get up one of those buildings and sort of drop onto one of them?
Yeah, sure. Just so we're clear, the average owl bear weighs about 1,500 pounds.
I did kind of write this down somewhere. I don't know where, but I know they're not light.
Right, you could really hurt one of those things. But yeah, all right, sure. Let's you don't scramble so much as stab your way into the metal building like the Hulk climbing a building with his overgrown knuckles. You kind of gouge your way up the side of it, and you get on top of the building, and you see one of the salamanders, and you do this big, awkward, kind of funny owl belly drop through the air and land on one. Roll to see if you don't crush the life out of it.
Is there a modifier I should attach to that?
Yeah, you know what? Let's call that a wisdom save.
Okay. 12. Wisdom is 12.
Nice. At the last second, you're kind of like, wait a second, I forgot, I'm really heavy. And you tense up just the right way, and you land on this thing and wrap around it like a wrestler. But it does it, and it kind of wiggles and squirms, but you pin it in place. So here you are, like, spooning a giant salamander. It's not pleased.
Is he the outside spoon or the inside?
He's the big spoon. He's wrapped around it.
Side of acid. Okay, so I've wrangled me a horse-amander.
So how many of you saw that in the strobe lights?
Did any of you see that?
That was cool.
I think I saw it, right? Because he I'm on the ground, letting my armor get eaten.
And you stand up and kind of get all that off of you. You'll be able to prevent. Okay.
Do I have any kind of control over this thing right now?
In the sense that if you don't let go, it can't get away from you. Yes. But there's no way you're gonna like pin it to the ground, sit up, and get the tack and put it on. You don't really have that kind of dexterity at this point.
I can't like sort of grab its head and point it.
I mean, you could try that. Yeah, sure. You're talking about bareback riding of a sightless salamander, kind of manual control, I suppose.
So I'm going to try and lean it towards the nameless tinker.
Okay, sure. Let's call that a strength check, because it's going to fight you really hard when you wrap your big talony paws around the side of its head.
With a bear hook club, okay. Oh no. I have no muscle right now. I rolled a 4.
So you don't let go of it. You stay on top of it, but it kind of wriggles and writhes, and you fail to push it towards him. Instead, you stay in place and look like two giant animals wrestling with one another over a piece of meat.
Okay. I have no plan for this.
Oh, yeah? Before I get back to you, a nameless tinker priest, here you are watching two animals. Let's go with wrestle. What are you doing?
I'm kind of trying to look at I'm assuming I still have the saddle close by, and just to try and get a look at how does this fit on like a normal horse? How is there a bridle? Does it go out?
Aside from the different proportions, it might as well be horse tack. It's got the I forget what the part is. The part that goes underneath, and the bit that goes in the mouth, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, so I've got the bit and bridle, and I'm sort of holding it so that if the salamander comes my way, maybe I can get it over its head.
Okay.
And swing on to its back.
I assume at this point, even if you guys hadn't already, if you weren't outside witnessing this, the commotion has drawn, if not your eyes, your ears. What are you guys doing in reaction to this ridiculous sound? I can't even explain what an owl bear landing on a giant salamander.
I got an eyebrow raised, and I'm like shaking my head.
I'm just kind of leaning against the wall.
That's what I would be doing. I would kind of be leaning back and just giggling. Like, I can't.
I'd be just taking it all in. I don't know all these people very well yet.
But they wrangle giant salamanders.
I just exhaust.
So is he coming toward me?
Hermes is trying to wriggle it towards you by manually controlling its head, which he's managed to get a grip on its head, but he hasn't got it to move towards you yet. Looking at it, you're not actually sure that it can underneath his weight.
Mm. Well, while it's like immobilized, can I try and put the bridle on it?
Definitely.
As long as we're being stupid, I'm just going for it. You know?
It'll argue and fuss and wriggle a little bit, but you get the bridle in its mouth without too much difficulty.
Okay. And then can I try and jump on its back with
So the idea is that Hermes will
Hermes like slides off and I'm on it with the
yeah, right. He'll dismount while you mount. Yeah, sure. Let's say you pull that off and you manage to fit the kid on the creature between the two of you.
And I'm using my wisdom to kind of tame this beast.
To soothe the savage salamander? Yeah, sure. Make a save on that. Don't forget to add your proficiency and your modifier.
Yes. I roll a 3 plus 3. This is not good.
So the creature will do what you say because you can manually control it, but it's not pleased about it. The tongue keeps coming out from underneath the bit. If it could talk, it would call you absolutely horrible things. But conquered it is.
Really?
So we now have a mount.
Well, I mean, he has a mount.
He has a mount. The mount doesn't work for owlbirds, I suppose.
Well, I mean, I'm going to try and like ride it around a little bit and see if I can't calm it down.
Okay. How long do you want to spend doing that? A couple minutes, however long it takes, a half hour?
10 minutes.
Okay. In those 10 minutes, you're pretty sure you don't make a lot of wiggle room, not emotional wiggle room, more like, I get it, you're riding me and I have to deal with that. Kind of like quiet resentment. It simmers down, but you don't get the warm and fuzzies from it.
Well, I guess I get off and call it a day for my salamander wrangling.
The salamander kind of, you're not really sure because it doesn't have eyes, right? But you're pretty sure it's sulking and it doesn't go anywhere. It kind of resigns to plop in place. It rests its big flat head on its big flat paws. And if it had eyes, you're pretty sure it would be staring at you.
Oh. Well, I give it a pat on the head and say, we tried.
We're not friends, but I wanted to be, right?
I say, may the tinker bless you. And I take the bridle off of him.
So what's everybody else up to?
Well, I have an affinity for animals, so I go up and see if I can get close to the same salamander.
The same one with the bridle and tackle on it?
That's just gotten the bridle off. So
Oh, did you take it off? I assumed you left it on.
That's what I said. I said I took it off, but
Oh, I'm sorry. I misheard you. So you take the everything off of it, okay? And it same thing. It sulks in place.
So I go up to try to get up to it so I can croon to it and make it feel better.
Okay. Which goes over. Make a save for that, but make it with advantage because you have.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
make
Roll 2d20.
right.
220 credit
2d20.
and
Right,
take the higher number.
I keep forgetting you're new. Right. Advantage means roll 2d20 and pick the good one.
18 is the good one.
Nice.
Plus
So
there
your
was none.
proficiency, so like 21.
Did you add your proficiency and your respective modifier? That would be your
I
wisdom
didn't.
bonus. Okay, make sure to add those.
All right,
Proficiency
wisdom
is
bonus
plus
is
2.
so wisdom mod,
Mm-hmm.
which is nothing,
Okay.
and then proficiency was 2.
Yes, which brings you up to 20, which is different from a natural 20.
Okay.
When you get one of those, we'll talk about it. As a general rule, though, a natural 20 means you pass in whatever thing you were trying to do,
Right.
Mm.
I mean,
independent of how ridiculous a request it was. Similarly, a natural 1, you screwed up, no matter how easy that thing was otherwise going to be. I kind of imagine the personal shame of a natural 1 feels like when you stub a Lego in a shag carpet. It hurts. So you soothe the creature without too much difficulty. You rub its giant, flat-looking head, and the tongue comes out, and you get a lick instead of like an angry. And it kind of simmers a little bit, like it settles down in place, and hunkers down and kind of flattens and wedges and kind of motions for you to get on top of it.
Okay, so I'm gonna climb on top.
Okay. The salamander doesn't move or anything, but it kind of adjusts to your weight, and you kind of feel like it's okay with you being up there.
So I try to take him for a spin.
Okay. Where to?
Just around the courtyard.
Okay. That works just fine. You zip him around various buildings, and at one point he rears up and runs up the side of one of the buildings with just ridiculous speed. You're kind of impressed you don't fall off of it.
Yeah, with my dexterity, I would fall off of it.
You get back onto the ground with the creature after going around a little bit, and I don't know if I'd call it a sweet ride, but it was fine.
Mm-hmm. I feel bad for the nameless cleric. Because the salamander likes me better than him. So I try to get him over to make friends.
Aw. That's adorable. So as you take him over to meet the nameless priest who attempted to just kind of dominate him, right? He pulls back a little bit, but he kind of pushes against, like raises his spine up under you, like, I mean, I guess, and then extends his giant head towards the priest and kind of lowers it, like, yeah, I mean, I guess we could try again.
Aw.
As that happens, one of the nearby buildings, the one you were in before, there, nameless priest, you hear some rustling and some bustling from in it, some kind of movement, like some what sounds like wood creaking, which doesn't make any sense because there was no wood in there.
Wasn't that the building that Nordier and I just walked out of?
Yes.
So we noticed it too?
Definitely.
Yeah, because I would think we would be standing fairly close to the.
You
door.
definitely hear it. Nothing comes out of the building or anything, but you hear what sounds like creaking wood coming from inside.
Creaking wood. Like somebody walking on a wooden floor?
That's definitely what it sounds like, but you were in there. There was no wooden floor in there.
I'll go up to the door that we came out of,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll kind of poke my head in and see if I notice anything else.
You definitely do. You see two burning red eye sockets, like pulsing red light, coming out of two eye sockets of a dead man in a set of armor. And by dead man, I mean skeleton.
With that, I will poke my head back out. I'll take a couple of steps back and go, guys.
Hey guys, look at.
I'm walking
as I draw my sword.
I'm walking backwards with my bow
No, but I'll kind of, so if like the walls here and the doors here, I'll kind of skirt around to the side of the building.
Sure. Yeah.
Trying to be stealthy. Trying to hide.
Gerard, you haven't said anything for a little while. What are you up to?
As I saw Nadir going on the corner, I go to the next corner.
Okay.
I'm preparing my bow.
Okay.
I stay on the salamander,
Okay.
drop my bow.
Okay. The door swings open slowly, like somebody is taking great effort to push it open. And the nameless cleric recognizes this figure as the skeleton he saw earlier that looked very, very dead. It has its head on now, but aside from that, it looks as it did. And it kind of shambles towards you. And every time it takes a step, it sounds like a forest creaking. And it goes, "My name is Gideon. State your business." And I will see you guys next week.
I knew he was going to do that.
Nicely played.
Thank you.
Cool.
That was fun. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me,
Sorry
guys.
again
It's
for
fun.
being late.
Oh,
Show
that's
us-
okay.
Show us what you're painting.
Oh, yeah, I want to see.
This guy. Can you see him?
Oh, fancy.
Yeah,
You
I
have
built
more
a lot of
patience
minis
than I
to
do.
paint, and I put them all aside, but tonight I'm gonna paint.
You're a much more patient man than I am. I can't paint anything. Minis, walls. It's the only skill in my whole life that I cannot develop any skill in whatsoever. Nothing.
No, when it comes on the minis, I'm tabletop ready. I don't go beyond that. I mean, I have some minis that I love, and I'm working my way up to them. But if I don't feel confident, I'm just gonna pay someone to do it.
That's how I look at plumbing and electricity.
That's actually one of the things I enjoy about the Dungeon Craft channel is his minis don't look great.
They don't, but he has such fun painting.
They look, they're passable, but they're like, you go to some channels and you're like, how do you even do this at all?
But how do you put blue in the black? Like, how did you?
Well, I'm not that desperate. Come on.
Oh, before I forget, I don't really know if you guys want to try and figure out how to do that through our tables in this online avenue, but I have a giant piece, like a 22-inch piece of UDT coming in the mail. So if you guys want me to try and make that work, I can figure out a way to set that up. And
yeah.
Why not?
I've got stuff too. Like if you want to do UDT and just for positioning, like I have 2 pieces.
Really nice. Oh, he's going to get it. Woo! I assume he's going to get it.
Whoa.
Oh, fancy.
Nice.
I don't see it.
Yeah, hang on.
And I have this one.
Oh, look at you.
I think you posted that one a few days ago.
Yeah, this is the one I posted.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I got one I
But,
made years ago for my group back in Arkansas, and then we never played on it. Figures, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm usually a theater of the mind kind of guy. Like I own, I think, 4 minis, and they were all presents from other people. But if I do find that with theater of the mind, in earlier events anyway, I mean, when everybody isn't clicked into place yet, that there's a lot of positioning questions and inquiries, and hey, what about this in relation to that, and at least for now, or in general, if you guys want to go more tactical and specific, I'm okay with that.
I'm good either way.
Yeah, I'm good either way too. Sometimes
Okay.
maybe tactical, save it for the big fights.
Okay, works
But,
for me.
the simple things, I mean, whatever.
I tried to play a game, Theatre of the Mind, with my friends here, and they did nothing but whinge at me.
Really.
We did not love it, huh?
Oh, No,
I have a couple of players like that. If I don't put minis on the board, right, even if they're just dice or something, if there's no.
Oh, I've got some of those like little tokens. They're like these little plastic Skittles almost.
Nice.
They're perfect. But one of my players is a sorcerer who loves to use ice knife.
Oh.
And because she's not paying attention half the time, she's like, well, if I had known that the characters were all around this other guy, I wouldn't have used ice knife. And that hits everyone around the target. So yeah, she didn't like that.
I've had great success with minis that you could eat, gummy bears, that kind of thing. Those are fun, particularly with little kids, right? You get to eat what you kill.
Yeah, I don't know if somebody posted this on the Facebook group. It was like dice made of sugar.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I saw that. Yeah.
That'd be fantastic. You're just like,
Like screw this die.
that's the last one.
That's the part you don't know they're edible.
Yeah, right. You have failed me for the last time, right? And you just eat the die.
Who is the nutter we brought to the table with us? Dice, crunching them.
Yeah, I'm hoping they're hard. They're not like gummy or something. So you get that when you bite into them and you freak everybody out.
They're like sugar candy.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I feel like the illusion would be lost if they think you threw a hump of plastic in your mouth and it doesn't make any noise. You know?
Yeah.
No. Especially when you're rolling it and it just like bounces along the table.
What I get, Dada?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, there's a kid.
Told him I was working. He knows the truth now.
Hello.
hey.
Hello.
Truth's
Hello.
out of the bag now. Hi.
All right, guys.
This has been a lot of fun. I'll see you guys
Yeah.
next week.
Yeah. See you
All
later.
right.
See you in Facebook.
Bye.
See
Bye.
you later, guys. Have a good one.
You too.